CAD assignment number 3, you'll see the first page is just the instructions for what to do, and the second page is this drawing file. And so you should get used to looking at drawing files. Here we have this object, the pulley, and we have a series dimension multi-view, including, as we just discussed before, this section view, right? So you have to create this object, you have to create the key, and then you have to create the shaft with these dimensions here. So that is your 3 items that you have to create. Well, after creating the, doing the revolve ones, they're pretty straightforward. This one's obviously a revolve. That one I wouldn't do as a revolve. I would do it as extrusion, extrusion, extrude, cut. That one's about as straightforward as it gets. It's basically 2 dimensions and extrusion. So, but you're going to make these 3 things. And I kept it simple on purpose because I know you guys are going to start making your car parts too. So that's also the next step next week, is start to build some of those car parts. So that is the assignment. I'm going to go to the next stage of the assignment. So much stuff open. Don't want to save that. I am going to go into a new, and this is the first time we've done this. We've done part file, part file, part file. Now we're going to move into an assembly file. And then finally, later on, we'll move into a drawing file. But for now, we're just introducing assembly files today. Now, the assembly file looks almost identical to a drawing file, does it not? I mean, the only difference is the ribbon at the top is going to have a bunch of different options. And because we just opened up this brand new assembly, it's automatically saying, okay, you want us to make a new assembly? What do you want to put in it? So I'm just going to pull out the pulley as my first part that I'm going to insert. And this one is a fully assembled. This is what we're going to achieve when we're done. You got the shaft, you got the pulley, and you got the key right there. So I'm going to close that one off because I don't want the whole thing. I just want that one part. I just need that one pulley. So obviously you're going to make these, save them into a folder, and then open up a brand new or create a new assembly. And just like I did right then and there, I brought it in and I have my one part. So as you're looking right here, I have one pulley brought in. Now notice there's that little F next to that one pulley. If I right click on it, you got a choice. You can have it floating, it can move, or if you have a right click, it's going to fix it. I really like SolidWorks in the sense that it automatically fixes the first one you bring in. So it just automatically fixes the first one you bring in every single time, which is actually quite nice because you're going to have to fix it anyway. So once you bring it in, it's going to be locked in place, and you can maneuver yourself any way you want to maneuver yourself around to take a look at it. Just remember, you're going to build this to start with, and then we're going to do an assembly. I cannot move this now. Remember, it's fixed. It's important that something be fixed or grounded, because we're going to be adding parts to that, and you don't want them just moving back and forth every which direction. So we have to have something grounded to build upon. The next step would be just simply to insert another part. You go to insert part, it goes right back to the same folder, and now I'm going to pull up shaft, which is something else I built a while ago. Now when the shaft comes in, what you'll notice is there's no F over here, right? So it's just an F on the first one. The first one's fixed. The second one is not. The shaft can still move any direction that it wants to move. There's no constraints on it whatsoever. And then the last part that you're going to bring in is the key. Now, if you're interested in small engines, or you worked around small engines, you'll understand why the key is there. I was on my boat the other day taking the steering wheel off, and we have the shaft here, and there was a key that held the steering wheel on there. The key would slide in there so that when I turned the pulley, the whole shaft would go with it. The keys are usually aluminum for the purpose of the aluminum would shear before you actually shear off the shaft, right? So there's a purpose why that key is there. So you can take this pulley system off, and yet if this belt gets too tight or gets bound up, it's not going to tear the whole shaft right out of there. It'll just break the key. It'll make the key slip. But that's beside the point. So the next step is to put these things together. And you know what? I think SolidWorks makes it super easy to put things together, and you do that by doing mate. And now watch this. It's going to put on what they call mate constraints. And it's as simple as saying, I would like that to be inside of that. I mean, really, that's it. It just went inside of it. Now, I think I picked the whole surface, so it's going inside there. If I go in and I say check right now, it'll be right in right place. But you should know that there is a number of options. Like I could do some offset. I could change the alignment, so I'd flip it around if it was going the wrong direction. So sometimes that does happen. Right now, because I picked two of the cylinder shapes, it made them concentric, so the centers are exactly aligned. And I wanted it that way, so I'm going to hit check. So now this is placed. Now this is fixed, it's not moving. This is going to be able to move back and forth, but they're going to maintain the same centers. So I haven't fully constrained this down yet. In order to fully constrain it down, I need to make sure that the keyway is going to line up. So I would go back and I would add another constraint. I'm going to zoom into the corner here and say, I want this. Notice I pick a surface, not an edge. Try to avoid picking edges. Pick the flat surface. That flat surface is going to line up with, and this is going to be a tough one to pick, but I'll zoom in there. Boom. And it just aligned the two surfaces. I'll go back, put it on a nice 45 for you guys to see it. So you can see the blue lined up with the blue, and it says, okay, so you want these to coincide with each other. Coincide obviously means it's lining it up, almost like flushing it. I can still do this, where you can move it around back and forth if you need to, but it looks like it's in a good place. I'm going to say okay. Now, what did that do? It stopped it from spinning. It made this surface and this surface, these two surfaces are coincide with each other, so it stops it from spinning. I still haven't fully constrained that shaft because that actually is supposed to stop when it hits the edge there, and it's not stopping when it hits the edge. So I could go back and say, okay, I want to constrain one more thing. I want this surface to constrain to the other surface, which is going to be kind of like this flat surface right here. And it automatically goes up and says they're going to be perpendicular and they're going to be constrained to each other all the way in. So it's actually touching. So now with those, I added those three mates. I did a coincide. I did a flush to the keyway, and then I just basically did a perpendicular mate here. Now those two are stuck together. As a matter of fact, I cannot move the shaft at all. It's locked in place. And that's really your goal, to lock down that shaft. Unless, of course, you want a wheel for a train or something along that lines. Some people let the wheel spin, continue to spin as long as it's in the right spot. This one we don't want to spin, so we locked it right down. So the last couple of steps are quite easy. You're just going to put the keyway in that shaft. I typically would do it just by picking the flat surface that's going to be on top. It's going to fit right onto this. Now, look what happened here. As I move it around, you're going to take a look at it. It said, oh, you want it to coincide again. Well, perpendicular, see what it says. These two are going to be coincide. Yes, they are. They're going to be on the same. But the problem is that I want it on top, not on the bottom. So you click this and it's going to flip it over and make it on top. Now, when it did that though, what it did was it put it on top and pushed it diagonally, but I don't care. As long as it's on top, that's the first step. We mated those two surfaces. I'll hit check. Now, the next step, I'm going to make sure that it goes right inside that groove. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to pick that groove, and I'm going to go back. I have to move out a little bit and probably move myself around so I can see the other side. By the way, when I go to zoom, you don't see me going back here every time. I'm just hitting the space bar. The space bar brings up a zoom every time. So I come in and hit this flat surface right there, and it made the nice alignment. And I can just hit check from here. Now, is that fully constrained? Will that keyway move? What do you think?
The sides aren't.
What's that?
The sides aren't constrained.
The sides aren't constrained. I constrained this side with that edge.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I constrained the top with the bottom with that. But can it still move, you think?
Slide back and forth.
Yes, because we still have basically 1 degree of freedom. One way it can still move back and forth like this, see? We've constrained it, but we haven't fully constrained it down. So when you do this, you got to make sure you fully constrain it and lock it right in place. So I have to set that up. I need to add one more mate constraint. So I'm going to go to mate. This time I'm going to pick this edge here, and I'm just going to make sure it goes all the way inside the shaft and say check. And now I have fully assembled our CAD assignment number 3. So with this CAD assignment number 3, you have to do really 4 things. You're going to build the pulley, you're going to build the shaft, you're going to build the keyway, and you're going to give me pictures and data, volume, surface area for each. And then you're going to do an assembly, and for the assembly, I just need a picture. Just a picture saying that you actually assembled it. So some of you can take a picture of it. Remember how you just go file. Oop, I'm in the middle of a, check that off. If I go file, save as, and down here I can just go to a PDF, and it'll save it as a PDF. It'll save this picture as a PDF. And that's a good way to do it, because then you can just send me the PDF. And I think everybody is able to open a PDF file pretty easily. The other way you could do it, I don't know if you guys ever use the snipping tool. Well, it's on every Windows-based program. You just go new. And the nice thing about the snipping tool is I can actually just snip that. That snipping tool allows me to just take a picture of that one and save it as, it saves it as a JPEG or something to that effect. So it makes it a little easier to grab one piece at a time. So that's called the snip. And that's on most Windows. I mean, if you typed it right into your laptop, I think you'd find it come right up. It's called the snipping tool. It's a pretty common tool that we use for different programs and different parts. I'm just going to close it out because I don't need to save that. No, I didn't. I said no. I said yes. There we go. Close. No, I don't want to save it. So that is your CAD assignment number 3. How many CAD assignments are there? There are actually 5 different CAD assignments throughout this class between the different things that we do. I mean, we do all sorts